Welcome back. This is Urdizzle with another video, 2 in the same week. Crazy! I haven't done 2 videos with commentary in quite a long time, but this one definitely warranted a video with some commentary. So this is my video for Pro Tour Week 271 and the bag I am using for this tournament. My putters are going to be the Accurate Sticky Keystone and Accurate Sticky Hope. I do like the Hope. It adds a little extra distance when compared to the Keystone. And then my mid-range slots are going to be a pair of fuses, the Accurate Wind Fuse with the cool stamp and the Accurate Glide. And then you'll notice, if you didn't watch any of my recent videos, my fairway drivers are pretty heavy with the roll attribute. I do take advantage of that. So I've got the Accurate Roll Explorer, Accurate Roll Sapphire, the Accurate Glide Sapphire, and then Roll Accurate Grace. And I do use those quite a bit throughout these 4 rounds. And then the drivers, I've got the quartet of Rives. I've got the Turn Glide, which I added to the bag recently. I've got the Glide Roll, which is, I think it's a staple in most people's bags, as well as the last 2, the Glide Light and the Glide Skip. So that is the bag I'm going to use to tackle this. And going into this tournament, or this Pro Tour, there is a 5-way tie up top with 21 wins. Rauta, myself, D-Bargs, Belgian, and Drano. So this is where I hope to break the tie. We're all sitting at 21. So hole 1 almost started off with a bang. So I threw my Glide Roll Rive, and I came this close. So freaking close. That close. Almost aced hole 1. That would have been a fantastic way to start the Pro Tour, but easy birdie to start with. But man, ace would have been nice. And then hole 2, I almost got this one too, although I don't know if it ever would have skipped up here. The Accurate Glide Sapphire, and he hit it just on the right spot right there on the hillside, and it skips up, and it had a chance. Not quite as close as hole 1, but so round 1, first 2 holes, I'm feeling really good, like 2 near aces. That one left me a little longer putt than I would have liked, but it's kind of what you get when you do the ace runs. Which leads into hole 3, and out of all 36 holes this Pro Tour, I think this is the only hole I feel like I kind of screwed up. So this is one you definitely want to eagle, but I think being round 1, I decided to play a little more conservative, so I threw my Glide Skip Rive, and I played it a little wider than I would normally play it. Left myself a reasonable throw-in shot, so this is my Keystone, but I'm a little tentative, so I think I aim a little bit lower because of that, and it just doesn't quite get high enough. So I think that was in part being the 3rd hole. I didn't want to go out of bounds and screw up the Pro Tour, try to run a hole, and there's a lot of golf left. But can't really complain about the 3 birdies, but I really, that eagle there, I was hoping would not come back to haunt me. So then shifting over to Crow's Nest, this hole took a little bit of adjustment because I've recently replaced my Accurate Roll Musket with the Accurate Roll Sapphire, and the Sapphire is just a little bit further and a tiny bit more turn, so I've had to make some adjustments, but I feel like I've kind of got this one a little more dialed in than I had when I first made the switch. And then this is a common theme you'll notice. I do not run this hole. So tailwind of 3, I would normally, if I was going to run this one, I'd probably throw my Accurate Glide Fuse. But with the tailwind of 3, I was just not comfortable with that. And again, similar to earlier, I'm playing a little conservative, so I lay up 4-hand fuse and just take the birdie. So in hindsight, I don't think I would have changed anything I've done because it's just too risky with that tailwind. Let me switch over to this one. Ever since I've switched over to that high route, just play the Glide Skip. I've gotten, I won't say a lot of aces, but I've gotten a few doing this route, but I never hit that tree. When you try to ride the wall there's a tendency to hit that tree and leave you with a throw-in. So I never really have to worry about that, taking the high route. And then this one, tough wind of 3. I would normally throw my Grace, but I switched to the Sapphire, the Accurate Glide Sapphire, and that, I feel like getting that one, I got a stroke back. Being Blueberry Thicket, you got to get the aces. Okay, so switching over to this guy, this is another hole where I'm throwing the Roll Accurate Grace. I would have normally thrown my Accurate Roll Musket, and I'll be honest, I haven't really practiced the ace runs on this, so that one wasn't really close. I'd say there's probably about 5 or 6 holes that I used to ace run with my musket. I'm trying to think what other ones. There's Coyote Canyon. I forget which one. Coyote Canyon 8, I think. The one the par 3 you're throwing over the ravine. I used to throw that. So still working out some ace runs with the discs I got in the bag. But overall, the strokes I would lose for aces, I feel like I've made up with other stuff. And then ending with hole 9 here. It's hole 9 from Blueberry Thicket. Just playing the Explorer. And a pretty good round, 10 under. I feel like I left 1 stroke out there. And when I started checking out the leaderboard, I did notice there were quite a few people up there that had shot a 17. So you see, at least right there when I played this round, there was only 1. But all right, so rounds 1 and 2, I'm playing back-to-back here. So I'm playing these on the same night. So I figured I was about a stroke behind everybody else coming into the second round. Hole 1, we're throwing the forehand Explorer, so the accurate roll Explorer. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the winds on this hole, especially in multiplayer, have been a little sketchy. A lot of 2 and 3 wins, so not a lot of easy ace run holes wins for that. So I have not really aced that one as much lately. I'm glad it didn't go out of bounds. Here's another one. Like I said, common theme. I would normally throw my musket on this hole, and I'm just laying up. The discs I have, the Grace has a little more glide than the musket, so I just did not really want to try to ace run that one. I think even if I did have the musket in the bag, I probably would have laid that one up. There's no point in going out of bounds this early in round 2. Then we switch to, or we go to the Lakeside hole 4. So this is anybody that's got the glide roll in the bag is probably throwing that on this hole. Left myself a little wider left than I would have liked, but I don't want to say that's a gimme, but it's about as close to a gimme as you're going to get outside of 60 feet. Finished pretty well on that. All right, tricky wind on this one. So I throw my forehand, and right about here, I thought there was a 50-50 chance it goes in the water. And so right there, skipped up, and I thought maybe it's going to hit and roll back down, but I got really, really lucky, and it settled on this hill. Honestly thought that was out of bounds. I did want to get aggressive, but I didn't think it would be that close. But I am in a good spot here, so I go ahead and run it with my Keystone, and this is one of the key shots of the tournament. I was able to hit that one for eagle. At the end of the round, when I talk about the scores other people had, I think that shot right there was the difference. And then hole 9 of Grizzly Gulch, I threw this one. I thought this one had a shot too, and it just barely goes under the basket. I thought it maybe had a shot, but that was my accurate glide Sapphire. That would have been a huge bonus because I have not aced that one in a while. I think to really ace run that one, if you're not going to use a skip disc, you got to bring the top rock formation into play, and it's just not worth it. Then we switch over to this guy. This is another hole I used to throw the musket on. Although the musket wasn't really an ace run disc for this hole, it was a little shorter. So I switched over to the accurate roll Sapphire. And I think that's pretty standard. Any hole that I used to throw the accurate roll musket, I now throw the accurate roll Sapphire. So that's the top 100 from the last league reward disc. And here we go, this hole again. I am not running it. I decided to play a little smarter and a little slower on some of these rounds. So just did not want to risk anything. Now that one, even if I had, I'm not even really sure what I would throw there to run that one because it's a headwind of 3, maybe Explorer, but I just was not messing around with it. And starting to get into some repeat holes here. So this is hole 5 from Crow's Nest, just throwing the Sapphire accurate roll down there. And this one I thought got away from me just a little bit, but luckily the rock stopped that. I think if that rock's not there, or if that disc is left or right, it's probably rolling up the hill. So I was a little fortunate in that regard, but I probably still would have had a shot to make my birdie out of it. And then this is another, having the accurate glide Sapphire, even with a wind of 2, I have no problem throwing the forehand. Although right about here, I thought there was a chance it would clip the tree and kick out of bounds, but luckily, I mean, I think that's one theme you'll see across any of these good rounds if you watch good players play. The fine line between good shots and bad shots is so small. I mean, it's tiny. And that was a great round. So that, I don't know if the scoreboards are updated when I finish this, but looking at the scores, that was, I don't think it was hot round. I think someone shot up one stroke better, but that right there got me, what the stroke that I missed on hole one, it got me right back into it. So I believe once everybody played, I think I was tied for the lead or close to it after 2 rounds. So feeling pretty good at this point. So going into round 3, I noticed Drano shot a 9 under, and then there were a lot of 8 unders. So I was anticipating kind of a tricky layout here. Didn't know what courses to expect. Starting off with this, I was actually okay with that because I can usually give this hole a decent eagle run. So I'll throw a glide skip drive off the tee, and then usually in this range, any in the 200 to 205 range, which I'm in consistently, for me it's just a fuse. And I was really disappointed in that one. It was left. I thought it would flip a little more. I know that looked like a good run, but I was not happy with that. I wanted to at least try to draw a medal on that. So I feel, knowing the 9 under was the hot round, I feel like I gave one away there. And then nothing special about this hole. This is hole 9, and I'm just going to throw my glide skip drive, get it out there. And if you get a decent drive on this one, you can get an eagle run, but a lot of times it's basically just laying up. But once I got that skip, that is a huge, huge skip. One of the things you'll notice about this round is I play a little slower. I had some distractions here at my house while I was doing this, so you'll notice now here, I'm not distracted. I'm really, really, really thinking about this because I'm like, I know I can ace it, or not ace this, eagle it. I know I can get a good score, so I really take my time trying to line it up, take the wind into account, and I just want to at least give it a shot, give it a run. And in the air, as soon as it came out, I was like, yes, that was a bonus stroke I needed. So that and the one on Grizzly Gulch, those were 2 huge, huge shots. So really like that. But yeah, midway through this round, I had a lot of distractions. So you'll see some pausing right here. I had 2 cats trying to jump up on me. I had my daughters were asking me questions. So you'll see a couple times I do that. And I'm almost want to just tell them, like, can you leave me alone for like 5 minutes and just let me finish the round? So here I throw a forehand glide skip drive, just trying to get it out there. And I hate that tree. Still got me out here in a decent spot. But I think that head crosswind is going to kind of throw things off. But I do give it a run. And right about there, I thought there was a shot, but it just was a little too low. Really wanted that one. And again, I feel like I left a stroke there because a lot of good players will eagle that hole. But I think at least the wind of 3 will kind of equalize things a little bit. Not as many people are going to get it. Right here, it happened again. So I was getting distracted. I was like, leave me the hell alone. And I finally got a second. And this one I also took my time on because I got a wind of 3, which means I can kind of try to pinpoint. I've got an aim point that I use for a wind of 1 and 2. So I just had to adjust a little bit. It's kind of out to the side by, you'll notice that tree right there. So I thought if I aim right about in the middle of that, maybe a little to the side, I could give it an ace run. And I just didn't quite work out. I was hoping to give that a little better run for as much time as I took on it, but I definitely slowed down a little bit thinking I could ace that one because it's pretty safe with a roll disc. It's going to stop and give you a fairly easy birdie. There, even with that one 60 feet, I don't really worry putting back towards the water. I'm going to make that 99 times out of 100. And then this one I wanted no part of. I was thinking about doing, for a split second, the accurate glide or accurate roll sapphire and running it, but I was like, nope. So again, there's probably 4th or 5th time that I played a little more conservative than I normally would. Just played my roll accurate grace on a forehand and just let it normally turns, and it just faded right in there. I mean, I pretty much laid that one up. But I was totally fine with it. Now this, on the other hand, this has come up in the daily recently, I think. So I felt pretty comfortable. I've got an aim spot just on the edge of the bush. So watch my aim point right there, or the edge of the tree, sorry. Usually if you aim just to the right of that, it'll give it a decent ace run. It'll come crashing through the trees. And that was actually pretty close. I think I needed it to crash a little harder, so maybe I needed to aim a little left. But I'm pretty happy giving that one an ace run. Just didn't want it to stand up and roll because with a wind of 4, that would have been an awful comeback. All right, now that I see this, I'm a little worried because there's a lot of crazy stuff that can happen on this course. and my first thought was just don't go out of bounds left. So I made sure to flip that one. I don't mind hitting the trees. I don't even mind the tee shot leaking a little to the right. But once it crashed through here, I was really, really comfortable with where it landed. And it started to roll away, and I was worried, if you've played this course a lot, those little bushes on the ground sometimes cause collision. So I was really worried that I would throw through that and it would clip it. But it did not. So I think I even dissed up a little bit because of that. I normally maybe would throw like an Explorer up there. I went Grace, and it was fine. And now that I look back in hindsight at this shot now, I probably, if I threw the Explorer, it might not have gotten up there. So glad I didn't mess that one up. All right, and when I see this, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm one ahead. I'm on a 10 under pace. 9 under was what Drano threw. I'm assuming, other than you got the first couple holes on Pioneer Bay or I guess Lost Island, where you can, because we're on Pioneer Bay now, but the first couple Lost Island holes where maybe you can eagle one of those, but you're probably not going to eagle 2 of them. And this, with that wind, pretty neutral wind of 1, that's going to be a pretty easy birdie. So I'm thinking 10 under is going to be hot round. I don't remember. I think I went back through and tried to check to see if anybody threw an 11 under, and there might have been one, but most people are not going to throw an 11 under on this. Now, right here, the tee shot there kind of leaked a little left. I really played that one safe. I did not want to go near the water, and I left this a little further left than I wanted, but I'm pretty comfortable with that upshot. I know the forehand rive, that's my glide roll rive, is not going to go too far. And once I'm in here, I'm in the 350 range, totally fine. That is accurate glide sapphire all day long. But now when I threw this, I was a little worried because it popped up here, and then I thought it was going to roll down, and I'm like, sit. And it did. And I was just hoping I wasn't blocked off by the ground there, and I was not. So just a little putt, had to change the aim, and we're good to go. So I felt really good about that round, 10 under. I think, like I said, Drano was either a stroke or 2 strokes behind me, so I know I gained one on him. And at this point in time, I don't think any of the guys that normally play later have played it. So I really wanted to get every stroke I could. But that bonus throw-in on hole 2 was huge. So there we are. I've got a 2-stroke lead on Drano, and looking back, I feel like I gave away 1 stroke, but I had 2 bonus strokes. I guess you could say 3 because I had that 1 ace, but I'm not going to call that a bonus because I think somebody's going to ace one of those holes. And then going into round 4, it was a little early in the evening, but I saw a 10 unders hot round. I'm like, if I can get a 10 under, I feel good. So hole 1, I'm just going to throw my accurate roll sapphire, and I clip the tree. My heart sunk when that happened. I'm like, oh, no, do not do that. So left me with way too far. So this is downhill, 2 wind, and I hit it. That one, my heart dropped a little bit. I was like, dude, you did not mess up the first hole of round 4. So I was able to salvage that. Hole 2 here with a right to left wind. That is accurate glide sapphire all day. This is a tricky hole when there's a left or right wind, because it will push that sapphire up the hill a little bit. So sometimes I'll go like a 50% glide skip rive, but that was not an issue there. I was able to get it. And then when I saw this hole, I'm like, okay, we've got to get this one. This is a must get. I think anybody that's competing at the top of the Pro Tour is going to probably eagle this one. And right there out of my hand, it flipped over too much. So I was just hoping it punched through, and it did, but it landed right behind the tree. So it was a little to the left. I had to straddle, and this I was not confident in. I had to put it on a little turn. That's right now, that's 2 big shots. So hole 1 and hole 3. So I'm not nervous at this point, but I'm not happy that I've almost screwed up 2 of the 3 holes to start the round. So I'm just hoping to work things out. And I won't say I don't get nervous, but I've been through this enough that I kind of know how to train myself and just calm the nerves. But still, there's sometimes when you make a shot, it doesn't happen before the shot, but it happens after, where you just get this sinking feeling, but you just you reboot and just do what you need to do to get your head back in the game. And it happens again here. So hole 5, I throw this, it flips over a little too much, and I'm pinned. And I'm like, God, what did you do? But I've got a little trick that I use here. If you're close to this, I aim right here. You just put it on huge hyzer, slam it off the ceiling, boom, and you get yourself a putt. And I know it brought the water into play, but I've done that shot enough times, so you don't have to. I think a lot of people would maybe play that out to the right and then try to make a long throw in, but I know that you can go up over the top and just slam it into the roof and back down. I think that was the shot of the round. I know hole 1 and hole 3, they were a little risky, and I was able to salvage them, but that right there was huge, 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 huge. Which leads into this. Again, if I can get in the 200-foot range, I feel like I can get a throw in. So it's not quite where I wanted it, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a good run. Again, this is just a fuse shot, but I had to switch to the accurate glide because it was a little too far, and it just, again, just like that one earlier in the Pro Tour, I missed it just a little to the side. Really would have liked to have those back. So that's my thought process in the round, was thinking maybe somebody would get that one, and I've got to worry about them throwing an 11 under. But I tell you what, I'm really happy we ended on this. I just finished my walkthrough for Ikigai Springs, and so I'm really, really comfortable of all the newer courses with this one. And so I didn't hesitate at all, regardless of the wind, to throw the glide skip rive on a forehand. I'm just, at this point, I'm feeling really good. And then we go to hole 1. As long as I can birdie out, I feel like I've got it. Like, I feel like I've got the win in the bag. So this tee shot, perfect, gets up the hill, and this is going to be in accurate roll grace range. So literally, if you've watched the walkthrough, everything I just did on the last 2 holes is exactly what I told you to do in the walkthrough. Hole 5 with the triple mando, throw your forehand glide skip rive, and it works. This one, throw out there, throw a forehand approach shot, it's there. So right now I'm like, yes. And then this happens. So when I see this hole, I'm thinking, damn it. Because normally I'll throw a forehand accurate glide sapphire. But with that wind, I know it's not going to clear the water. So I will admit, I normally don't get nervous. I was not feeling this shot. I was nervous. I felt like, dude, you're going to screw it up on the last hole of the Pro Tour, and you're going to lose it, and you're going to be pissed, and you're going to throw your phone. So I switched to the glide roll rive. Now, one of the things I did do in my walkthrough is I knew that I could aim a little higher, and once I got right here, I knew I had it. If you throw it a little lower, there's a tendency for it to skip long, but I knew with that, if I just aim a little higher, it was not going to collide with any of the early limbs on the early trees, and I got it. And so right there, when I finish, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. I didn't think anybody was going to shoot an 11 under. I feel like I made enough bonus shots, but you never know. And so when I finished, I had a 2-stroke lead over Drano, 3-stroke over a couple other people. So put the phone away, came back the next day, and Reese had tied with me. Great shooting by him. You know, he's been very consistent lately. And I feel at this point, I'm waiting. I'm like, I had enough bonus strokes. I feel like I played well enough. The only hole that I wish I could have had back was hole 3 from round 1, the Frozen Valley. But overall, I don't think I could have played any better. And then I log back in this evening, and there it is. That is Pro Tour win number 22. I got to say, I didn't think I had it in me to come back and do that. But these other guys that pushed me, who were all tied, 5-way tie at 21, I couldn't go out like that. I had 19 wins as of like September 2020, and I lost a lot of interest. I just didn't feel motivated to play, and I just saw everybody creeping up, and I'm like, I can't go out like that. I was like, if I get beat by these guys because I'm playing and I just can't win anymore, I'll get it. But this proved to me, I think playing a lot lately, doing the walkthrough for Ikigai Springs, I just started to get that little fire back, that competitive spirit, and I was like, I can't let these guys just pass me without at least giving a little bit of a fight. And I did, and I was able to take it down. So first win in, God, I think it was 11 months. So it feels pretty damn good to be back on top. I will hopefully get some more videos out now that like I said, that feels good. I don't want to retire again. But hopefully when they pause these Pro Tours, I've heard rumblings that the Pro Tour is going to change format, and it would be really cool to be locked into that top spot for eternity. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary for this. It was definitely fun, ups and downs, good shots, bad shots, but overall consistency prevailed, and there you go, Pro Tour win number 22. I appreciate the subscriber support and all the things, comments you guys positive that you leave for me on my channel, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks.